It's been a big week for education news. The new state superintendent locked horns with board members over the hiring of staff members. And Janet Barresi hasn't even touched on major changes that she has planned. She's talking about those changes in tonight's To the Point with Russ McCaskey.
We're with Janet Barresi, the new superintendent of public instruction for the state of Oklahoma. Thanks for being with us today.
Pleasure to be with you.
Obviously, Sandy Garrett had this position for a couple of decades. So someone comes in that's new. What are you looking to do? What are your goals?
Well, the first thing we're doing is we are doing a division-by-division analysis of the State Department of Education, reorganizing it. We're trying to really kind of morph the system into being less of a regulatory agency to more of a service organization that is going to serve districts as they work to achieve their academic goals.
Now, obviously, you had a charter school, so I guess some people might say, well, maybe she's going to support more charter schools. Would you like to see more charter schools for the state of Oklahoma?
Well, actually, I've started 2 charter schools in the state, a middle school and a high school. You know, my best day will be when they close the last charter school due to lack of interest. Charter schools are a laboratory where we can determine best practices and then use that generally throughout the state where it applies throughout the state. Certainly, I'm a big believer in choice in education, but all forms of educational choice for parents. I think parents should have the opportunity to have a choice where they send their children.
Obviously, one of the big stories this week in education deals with some of the school districts in the Tulsa area, Union, Jinx, Broken Arrow. They've decided to conform with the new state law that allows public schools to give parents of special needs kids money so they can go to private schools. But then they're going to sue the state, I guess, to try to get some kind of court action to settle it once and for all. What's your feeling on all that? Where would you like to see this go?
Well, certainly I was extremely disappointed in the beginning when these districts decided to not comply with the state law. What we have here are districts that originally openly defied a state law, an oath that they took to comply with state law. So certainly I was very disappointed that they decided to do that, rather than work with the legislature and the bill's author to take a look at concerns that they had and to see what can be done to address those concerns. But on their own, they made a very rash decision. And so I'm very concerned they decided not to comply with it. Now they've decided it's unconstitutional. I think that the attorney, and their suing of the Attorney General is also a pretty rash decision, ill-advised. And I believe the Attorney General will ultimately be successful. This has been researched thoroughly. It is constitutional. And I am very concerned about the expense by these districts of public dollars to fight this, just based on an attitude of not wanting to support this type of a program. The job of school districts is to educate children, not to interpret state law.
One of the things that you would like to get into, and you call it the 3 R's. Tell me about that.
Sure. You know, if we're going to prepare our kids for the life demands and the job demands of the 21st century, the knowledge economy, then we have to look at developing their thinking skills. We have to take a look at the rigor of instruction that is being delivered to them and the way it is being delivered. So what we're talking about are the 3 R's. Instead of reading, writing, and arithmetic, we're talking about rethinking, restructuring, and reforming. Rethinking how education is delivered within the classroom, the mode of delivery of instruction. That monolithic model of a teacher standing in front of a classroom lecturing is out the door. We have to allow teachers to use the skills that they have to be creative within their classroom. Restructuring. First of all, applies to the State Department of Education, making sure it runs efficiently and effectively and serves districts. We have to develop a meaningful student data system that gives teachers, principals, and superintendents the data they need to make informed decisions for students. And reform. Many, many things we have to do along those lines. We have to end social promotion beyond 3rd grade. If a child is not reading or doing mathematics at grade level, we have to make sure that those children do not go on to become 4th graders. That puts them at risk for failure throughout the years. Now, we're going to be developing strategies for reading and math that get them there to that finish line by 3rd grade. But we have to draw a line in the sand and decide that social promotion is unacceptable.
Obviously, budget concerns are out there. Some people think that maybe consolidation is a way to go to maybe cut down the number of school districts. How do you feel about things like that?
Well, I'm certainly not about closing small schools or closing a school, but I can, from my part, do what's possible to help reduce administrative costs. Plus, there's a different situation throughout the state. Western Oklahoma has a far different situation. They've got long expanses between their districts, whereas in eastern Oklahoma, the situation is very different. One size fits all does not fit here.
Big challenges ahead. Thanks for talking with us today.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.